You're very welcome to the Clonfert Diocesan Museum as part of the Loughrea Medieval Festival 2021. The Diocesan Museum houses church artefacts associated with this area, with the Diocese of Clonfert and its parishes. We have in our museum items connected back to the medieval period. And we have, of course, many items connected to the Celtic revival of arts and crafts, which is so much part of the Cathedral history. The first thing I want to draw your attention to is a vestment which was presented to Aughrim Parish Church in the year 1858, but its connection goes back to 1691. The vestment itself is not medieval, but it has a connection with medieval times. The vestment was presented in 1858 to the parish of Aughrim by a chaplain to Napoleon III. He happened to be in Ballinasloe at the opening of the church in Ballinasloe at the time. He was part of Cardinal Wiseman's entourage. Wiseman was touring Ireland and he preached at the opening of the church in Ballinasloe. So they took the opportunity to present this vestment to the parish of Aughrim because the Battle of Aughrim of 1691 saw the fall of St. Ruth and many of the French soldiers who died on the battlefield. And Napoleon III wanted them to be remembered and have Mass celebrated in the parish church of Aughrim for them. And so the second thing I'll draw your attention to is the collection of chalices and silverware associated with the diocese, housed here now in the museum. The oldest of which is the Matheus Macraith Chalice, dated 1500. At the moment it's not on display in the museum because we have loaned it to our friends in the Galway City Museum to enhance their exhibition at this time, but it will be returning here to its home in the Clonfert Museum shortly. The next oldest chalice from the Macraith Chalice is the Ballinasloe Chalice, which is dated 1620. There is an extensive collection of chalices and silverware here in the museum, all of them associated with the Diocese of Clonfert from various parishes throughout the diocese, and they all have a strong historic link with this place. And another item I draw your attention to in the museum is the Kilcorban Madonna. It's a wooden statue of Our Lady and the Child Jesus. It's dated the late 12th, early 13th century. Kilcorban was where the Dominicans had a foundation, but by the time they came to set up their foundation there, this statue was already quite old because they came there in the 1400s. Where else are you going to find a statue, a wooden statue, dating from the late 12th to the early 13th century? It's here in the museum in Loughrea, the Clonfert Diocesan Museum, and it's very much part of our heritage and our history. Its strong association with Kilcorban and with the parish of Tina. And beside this statue of Our Lady and the Child Jesus, which we refer to as the Kilcorban Madonna, there's also another very old statue, wooden statue of St. Catherine, and that dates from the 15th century. We have some other wooden figures and other wooden statues dating back quite a long time as well. So it's unique to think that here in a small place in the west of Ireland, we have wooden statues that date back to the late 12th century. And so they're just three highlights of what's in the museum here in Loughrea. There are a lot of other things to be experienced and to wonder at here in the museum. Some of the items here in the Clonfert Diocesan Museum have been on display in the National Museum. Indeed, some of them have been on display abroad, and some of them, as I said earlier, have been on display and are on display in the Galway City Museum. But this is their home here, this small museum attached to the Cathedral in Loughrea, a small town in the west of Ireland, in a small diocese of Clonfert. And we have here a real treasure. And I hope that you'll have an opportunity to behold this treasure as we keep it here for future generations.